That's right. It's the 25th day of October, 2015, and this is The Radical Agnostic, where ideology goes to die. I'm your host. My name is John. My co-host today is Bryan.
Hi.
Mark isn't here yet, and probably at all.
No, he
There's
is here.
the knock. Oh my God. You go get him, man.
All right, he's in. We're in.
That was. Could that have been timed any better?
It was perfectly timed.
Amazing.
Now he can come in and do his own. He can come in and do his own shtick right away.
Right.
Like, you don't even have to say anything quippy or funny.
That's right.
I'll just move on over.
It's
Have a seat, meat.
see me.
Sorry, I thought it was at 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's all right. Did you get my text then, like speed
No.
over here?
I didn't get your text.
Oh, you just.
I tried calling you, but your phone.
Yeah, you might. You're not. You don't have the right number. Yeah, man, that's fine. All right, people. Here we are.
We're at full strength.
We're broadcasting from Tucson, Arizona. The beautiful fall weather. 78, 80 degrees outside. Very nice at night.
It's nice.
Halloween is coming. We're going to have a special Halloween show next Sunday.
I won't be here.
You won't?
I won't get back.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Las
Vegas
Vegas,
till-
Nevada as
Oh,
well.
well, that works out, actually, because I have two friends coming from the East Coast.
There you go.
And
Abe, right?
Abe and Ryan, yeah. So,
Is Abe going to be on?
well, he wasn't going to be, but now that you're not going to be here, he can be on.
Nice. I'm sorry I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. So, what's up, Mark? Mark is here now. What do you got?
I'm full of breakfast burrito. But other than that, not much.
Where'd you get it?
I don't know. I spent the night at a
Road
friend's house,
burritos.
and his wife got them and brought them back to the house.
Okay.
So, this show is already loaded with danger.
Yeah. There could be an explosive.
Percolating
Yeah.
danger.
And Tampa Bay's beating Washington. That's all I know.
And Miami was fucking
in what sport?
pumping Houston.
And the Saints are beating the Colts.
Jesus.
Okay, football.
Yeah, football.
It's Sunday, John. You should
And I
know
was-
just with that.
Yeah.
That's
America.
enough.
America.
That's enough information. Fall America
And
Sunday.
I've got one other question for you. Who's your housekeeper? What you keep in your house?
What does that mean?
That was a song I was listening to on the way over here.
Oh.
It's ludicrous. Roll out.
Yeah, that's
your
crazy.
housekeeper, what you keep in your house? I'm glad you made it, man.
We're gonna, we're doing a shorter episodes these days. So,
Bite-sized.
little guys. This episode is a little more lighthearted, I think. Nothing huge to talk about, I don't think. But you guys chime in with topics at any point. We got Mark posted a really interesting article yesterday about autonomous vehicles, also known as self-driving cars. And the technology is almost there where they can take you anywhere. Like fully, the car can take complete control, and from takeoff to landing, as it were, the computer would control your car and you'd sit back and nervously watch.
Daddy never gets another DUI.
Yeah. So the technology is almost there. Tesla, their cars have, like, if you're on the highway and stuff, you can just switch it on and it will drive for you. But it's not 100% autonomous. But
Well, I think that it's kind of a thing. I saw a commercial for Ford or Chevy or something about like helping you parallel park and like watch it, and backing into places. It's like you can.
I've seen
That's
the
an
thing
option
for the
you can
parallel
switch on.
parking. Like you set it up, it tells you when you're in the right spot, and then it just puts you in.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
But if it fails, who pays? That's the only thing I don't like about that is like, oh, it's not my fault. My computer did it. Sue Ford.
that's a really good point. Oh, by the way, our guest is Jeff Hums.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I would imagine that it would be your insurance company. That your insurance company would have to cover that too.
And then they'd probably
kick it over to the
I forget what
manufacturer.
there's a word for it.
Closer. Like
there's
that.
a little funny insurance term they do between companies when Like, say I get in a wreck and I have med pay on my insurance, so
Yeah.
I automatically start being covered. My doctor bills are
Right.
automatically covered. But I'm not responsible for the wreck. So when I sue the other company, my insurance company will go after their insurance company for the money they paid for my medical bills.
Right.
Now, the article that Mark posted was. You want to explain it, Mark? It's a moral paradox in the programming of these vehicles.
Yeah. Basically, it's saying that eventually your car is going to hit somebody because of
An
outside,
unavoidable accident.
Unavoidable
Someone
accident.
runs into the
Like,
street.
yeah, you're turning a corner and someone steps off the street into the intersection and you're gonna hit them. Whether your car was driving by itself or you were driving, like that's gonna happen.
Can't
So-
stop soon enough.
Right. So in the programming, are they going to then program the car so it will attempt to make the least damage it can? Or so, like if it's a choice between hitting the one person that's stepped off the intersection, or veering away from them and avoiding them, but then crashing into 3 or 4 cars, like what does it choose to do?
So, like in a situation, let's say where there's a something weird happens and the car is veering towards a group of 10 people, like that happened in in Oklahoma this week. That drunk woman drove into a parade and killed 4 people, and injured dozens.
Did you see the video?
No, I can't watch
man.
that stuff, man.
Dude.
But so say that's happening, right? And the car is going towards 10 people, and you cannot stop in time. But the computer can be programmed to veer off, to have the car veer off, let's say, a cliff, or veer into a median or a wall, a concrete barrier, and but that'll probably kill you, the driver. So the car you can either program a car to take the least lives and veer away from the 10 but kill you, or you can program it to hit the 10 and save you, or there's different ways to go.
What level of narcissism? Some people go like, "Oh, you're more important."
What
than
if you
10
just
people.
make like, I know what they should do?
Well-
And this would fit
Bubble
right
wrap?
into our society. No,
I'd use bubble
they
wrap.
should make the save you function an add-on, and only really rich people could afford it. So then, like, only 1% of us would have it, and things would still be just fine.
That's your solution?
You said it was going to be lighthearted.
Yeah.
That's my lighthearted solution.
or it's
I'm
not an
still
option,
formulating my serious one.
Okay.
or it's not an option above
Drive your own
car
fucking
worth
car.
$50,000. Therefore,
That's my
only the rich
serious
people
solution.
die.
Drive your own car.
Yeah.
Well, they did a poll, and the majority of people said it should be programmed to take the least amount of lives no matter what. In other words, so if there's 10 in the road and 1 in the car, it should drive and kill the driver. But
Even if it was the 10 people in the road's fault, like they didn't have the right of way and they jumped. So then you could, if you're doing that, you could, people
You can
could
kill people, murder people.
Yeah, because just get a crowd of people and jump in front of anybody's car that's near a cliff.
I'd like to chime in because I want to get away with my murder.
Yeah.
I have found. Yes, please. Can we get this technology? I would like to go to California and start stepping the fuck right in front of everybody.
But you got to get a crowd of people. It can't just be you.
Yeah.
No,
Because you have to be greater than the amount of people in
Then
the car.
I will carry mannequins.
But if it's one person in the street and then you as the driver have a better chance of surviving if the car tries to kill you, and if the car crashes you, because you're in a car with airbags and stuff, and that guy is just standing there.
Except for then, is it going to take into account stuff like maybe you're 90 years old?
Well, what about
Well,
my
yeah,
dog?
Maybe
The article talked about that. How what if there's kids in the car? What if there's 4 people on the road and 4 people in the car, and 3 of them are little kids?
Well, now, are these good kids or bad kids?
Yeah. Well,
Are
did
we
they
talking-
spill their milk or not?
Yeah.
Because
Are they
that's
turning
the
out
real
to be
question.
budding shitheads or
Right.
geniuses? I inquiring minds.
I thought
wonder.
right away race was coming into that.
Well, I was getting there in a little bit in
Okay.
Georgia.
Oh, if it was black people on the street or what?
No, like in the car. What kind?
Yeah,
Like
this was in
were
the
they
car.
Muslim
What
kids?
race?
Like,
Oh.
religion too. Yeah, were they atheist kids? Fuck them.
That comes
They don't
part of the
believe in God
buying.
anyway. They got nothing
Yeah,
to look
yeah.
forward to. Snuff them out.
Death
Well,
is
that-
summer.
This one gets 47 virgins. Yeah, dead meat. Just
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's true.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, start the
true.
car,
to his
blows
benefit.
up.
Yeah.
It's true. The first
Yeah.
of the Ford martyrs.
Cadillac's not going
Ford
to offer
Mark.
this service.
Like I said, it's an add-on, man.
You could just you could just redefine jihad to include, crashing in a car for the sake of Allah.
Would it be kind of weird? Like, what I'm wondering is, we threw a party one time at our house, and it was during an Arizona summer, and these cats passed out in their truck at night, and we found them out there at like 11:30. They were pretty sweaty. They were in bad shape, man. We had to bring them in and doctor them up a bit. Like, if they could program that car to protect you, like run the AC, if they know you're still passed out in the driver's seat and it's heating up to a certain temperature, I think that's a good idea too.
I knew a guy who fell asleep in his car. It was waiting outside someone's house, and it was running, and they never showed up or something, and he fell asleep, but he fell asleep with his foot completely 100% down on the accelerator. Ooh. So the car was just like, for like 2 hours until the tank was empty. And then he woke up and it was just, his foot was still hammering the gas pedal. And he's like, what must that have been like for 2 hours? And what have I done to my car?
Yeah, well, the oil would burn up and seize.
Just redlining it for 2 straight hours.
There's Darwinism. Oh, I did something stupid.
Yeah.
See, but maybe the car prevents dumb shit like that. It must...
But
so the interesting thing was that most people said you should kill the driver and save the 10 people. But those same people, the majority of them also said that they would not be buying a self-driving car because they don't want to be the ones that die from that calculation.
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit of morality.
Well,
there.
how much do you think it is too, though, that like I don't like being in the car as much when somebody I know and trust is driving.
No.
When nobody's driving, and like I can't look over and see someone driving. I don't trust Kit.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no,
it's
I'm
proven.
opposed.
It's
I'm
scientifically proven to be safer and smarter than human drivers.
It's also
those accidents.
I'll buy that.
Well, so car manufacturers would have to make these cars still with a steering wheel there. And still like looking like a normal car, so that people would ride in the car with them, and you can. Oh no, it's I'm the one driving. It's not
Yeah, because where would you sit? Like say,
you.
okay, you got a self-driving car. Where do you sit?
I'd sleep in the back seat.
Yeah.
Well, they can they can rearrange the whole interior once you're not driving anymore, and they could have like couch seating and.
I'd be in the trunk.
I'd do whatever made people weird out the most when we drove.
Sit with my back to the windshield.
But then also those people that wouldn't want to buy the car, self-driving and all that, you could offer, make it so that they could take as many selfies as they want. And maybe even the car would be taking the selfie for them. And then posting it on their
rear view,
their Facebook. And so then they would buy them. They go, well,
but
the car's going to drive by itself, but it's going to also be taking selfies for me and posting them to my Facebook, and I can do it legally. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I would. I'll be doing it once it's available. I'm not. Yeah, it'll make me nervous for the first week, and then when it's better and more efficient and traffic isn't shitty because everyone's got these and they're using algorithms to figure out how best to get places, and accidents are going down and deaths are plummeting from vehicle accidents, I'll be like, yeah, man, I don't care.
I'm opposed.
Because you like driving, right?
No, actually, that's not it at all. One time I installed a remote-controlled key lock on the door. And I thought, this is fucking awesome. I can, hit it and, I have my hands full of shit. Just, kick the door open. This is awesome until the day it didn't work.
Right.
And then there's no keyhole, and there was no manual override. There was nothing. I used a size 12 key to open the door, and then I had to buy the new door, new lock. So when shit hits the fan...
Did you mean a size 12...
I kicked the door in because that was my only option. That was the only way to open up, and it was automated. And like, this is the best on the market. I'm like, I don't give a.
You got to put your Dennis Miller hat on for Jeff.
Yeah,
he's Miller-esque.
He's too quick for me.
The point is if I have a self-driving car and it fucks up.
No, in the event of an emergency, bro, a little Nintendo gamepad pops out of the dash, and you can steer your way to safety.
Well, I'm shitty
and
at
salvation
Nintendo,
with that.
I don't play Nintendo.
They would still have steering wheels, the first generation at least, and then so you could manual override it because fear of technological failure, of course, is one of the main things that's going to hold people back. But if it can be proven to you that
Well, I'm also the guy.
Statistically, these things happen less with the self-drive. Wouldn't you have to?
Well, statistically, wearing your seatbelt is safer.
Right.
And 20 years ago, had I been wearing the seatbelt, I would have died, and the girl behind me would have been died because we were thrown from the car.
Yeah.
So you're also talking. You convinced me? No, I walked out with a limp, and she walked out with some bumps.
But
and
you
bruises.
do wear a seatbelt now, right?
Well, because I don't get pulled the fuck over for it.
That's the only reason?
That's the only reason.
So you don't believe that the seatbelt makes you safer statistically?
Well, statistically, yes, I do believe that because obviously there's the statistics and but I'll wear a seatbelt for two reasons. One, it's the primary pullover,
Right.
And two, because I drive a stick, it actually keeps me in the seat better. That I can operate the clutch and stick and all that better. So it's better for me anyway.
Yeah.
But mostly it's fuck off. I lived through something that I would have died. So convince me later.
Yeah. Well, it's like having a gun, and like once in a while, people need it to defend themselves, and to tell that person, hey, statistically, that they're just never. You can't tell them.
Well,
that.
and statistically, if I don't smoke cigarettes ever, I'm not going to get lung cancer. But
you still
I know
might.
people exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Zeros and ones running my life. There's enough of that already.
Men get breast cancer.
Yeah, my only question about the self-driving car would be, can I program it myself the route that it takes? Because
I'm sure they give you a choice, like a GPS. It would give you an option.
You would hope so.
How are people going to get away from bank robberies? Like, is it going to be programmed not to leave the scene of a crime?
You're going to have to manual override that bitch. But all those cars are going to be connected to the internet, and the government will be able to stop their operation at any time. And
they'll come up on your screen. They'll be like, pull the car over.
No, they're not going to say pull it over. The car's just going to start pulling over because they told it to.
And there are people that believe that the government can do that already with your car.
Well, they can.
It's
definitely true for some cars.
Well, but not even just low jack. Like, I don't know if you guys know about I think his name is Danny Castellero. He's a reporter. He wrote a book called The Octopus, or maybe there's a book after that came out about him. But he was investigating like Iron Contra and like the arms shipments and like a bunch of different stuff and crack being introduced into America. And he basically died from a car accident. He was driving and there's video footage of his car driving off the road or whatever and crashing and catching on fire. But before
this was a couple years ago, right?
This was like 10 years ago, if not more.
Because there was another journalist,
and there's there's a conspiracy theory that the government took over his car, and it wasn't like, I'm sure he probably had some computer stuff, but it didn't have low jack. It didn't have like that kind of stuff.
Is this the same guy that said he was fearing for his life, that people were following him? Because there's another reporter. I thought he wasn't investigating Iran Contra.
I'm confusing things. The guy that I'm talking about supposedly killed himself and cut his wrists and left a note and all that. But he was like completely fearful of blood. He hated. So, and then I think the guy you're talking about is the guy that I was thinking
he was
about.
an investigative journalist, and he said he was looking into government corruption and the military. I can't remember what issue it was, NSA or something like that. And then he said, I fear for my life. And he goes, if they say I killed myself, I didn't. And this is online. Those words are still saved. He definitely said them. And then his car, there is video of this where his it was a nicer car. It's like a Cadillac or something like that. And it goes into a tree at like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's accelerating when it hits the tree.
Right.
And
Did it have OnStar?
No, it's one of the types of cars. Maybe it does have OnStar, but where hackers have done it in a laboratory and they've taken over the vehicle, and they can do it with certain models.
Say hacker again and tell me that doesn't scare the shit out of you in your car.
Yeah,
hacker.
It does.
So that's why I'm opposed to it. I'm okay. The government be damned, and I said that out loud. Oh God, I just got disappeared like 7,000 people did. But I say a hacker says, "Hey, you want to fuck with America? Let's get inside their cars." And now it's rush hour. Now it's parking lot everywhere. No, that's why I'm opposed. I'm also opposed. I've had cruise controls lock up on me where I had to put them into neutral because I couldn't unlock them, and that's a simple thing.
Well, I mean, where's that information going to be kept, though? Will that be on a private server? Or
what information?
I was just making a server joke.
Oh.
Anyway, self-driving car. I'm the self that's driving my car. Thanks. Appreciate that. Just get my order right.
Because
when I
like
come
10
through the
minutes ago,
drive-thru.
we were in Future City, where all cars are automated and there's no
Right.
traffic, and I'm lost. Basically, went from Future City. Now
Now we're talking about just introducing them to the public, where some of them will be self-driving and others won't be. But think of all the
But
think
even
of
if
the
all of
increase
them-
in productivity, national productivity from
Because we can text freely.
because you
I
can
can-
get there faster because all the traffic
I
will
get
be
there
much better.
will road rage people still rage though? Will they just be like raging
Yeah, they'll be
Well,
able to
in
text.
your car, flipping you
No,
off?
they'll just
anyway?
be getting in Facebook arguments while they're in
no,
the car.
now they can use proper gun control. 2 hands
Yeah.
pointing it at the person going too slow in front of them.
Right.
Okay, I'm for it all of a sudden.
And then, yeah, now you have both hands free to shoot people.
Yeah, just remember, the government tells you how fast you're going.
Yeah. But, I
Like, you
forget
like
what I
those-
was going to say.
It's weird
Oh,
to
yeah,
think
you
about,
could
though.
sleep. If you have an hour commute, you could sleep that whole time. Get extra sleep. You know what I mean? All kinds of benefits to it.
Well, I'm not going to say there would be benefits like that. There's times I'm just dead tired driving, like, but fuck, I just want to get the fuck home.
I'm thinking like
and
I'm
also,
gonna need that Sunday coming back from
Well,
Vegas.
yeah.
Like assert a perfect sleeper
But-
in my self-driving car.
but
Yeah.
Brian, brings up I don't drive drunk anymore. This is awesome. I can get shellacked and
Yeah.
still make it home
Wherever I
and
go.
program it to go
Yeah.
through the Taco Bell and order those
Exactly.
9 tacos I
These
didn't
are
want.
big.
Yep.
These
Yep.
are big benefits.
You can go Miley Cyrus every single night.
It's going to be like Minority
Slobbering.
Report. They're all going to look. There's going to be like 3 models of cars. I don't give a shit. Let's get into the Matrix. Let's do it.
But see,
No, and
coming with my passion for backpacking, myself being self-sufficient, it still cuts from that. It's like, hi, we're way back here. I'm hungry. Didn't carry food, did you? No. Damn, you're hungry, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of against you and a lot of other people's sort of fundamental love of liberty and
Well, it's
it comes to the whole idea of
self-sufficiency.
convenience versus freedom.
yeah.
Like you're gonna give up
Yep.
your freedom
For the sake of
convenience
and
to
safety.
have more,
yeah.
I've been
And some people
practicing-
will do that, and some people won't.
Right.
I've
Yeah,
been
I don't wanna-
practicing my primitive skills. When I dug the 3 holes for my hopseed bushes, I made Apache leg traps out of them first.
Oh my god, with the spikes.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
2 layers, 4 inches apart.
Did you
pointed
take
down.
pictures of that?
No, dude. Fuck that. I don't- Like people creep out on stuff
Yeah,
like that.
they
Oh,
would.
yeah.
I
Just
don't-
to be like, these are all over my yard, motherfuckers. So
Didn't even
don't
tell my wife. I
ever.
did. No, because dude, Reggie's too dumb. Like,
Oh
Reggie
no,
would end
just
up in
I'm
one
just
of those
saying,
things in
tell
a
people.
second.
Just tell people. Lie,
Yeah,
lie, and say that they're all over it to deter
they're not though.
your Facebook friends from robbing your house. I guess that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's not even true. I just wanted to see your face.
So,
But I'm gonna do it on the next one now that I'm thinking about it.
dude, that's awesome. Caitlyn Jenner. I
It was the
I don't
most
know if it's
controversial thing you've said in like 6 months, as far as I'm concerned. Your little
Actually, I can
post about
chime
that
in
the
on
other
this.
day.
yeah, I know. I don't know what I was in I got something up my butt and I was just
You
it
had
just
a beef.
bugged me.
You had a beef, man.
Yeah.
So you said Caitlyn Jenner, and then you had something up your butt. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's confirmed or if it's a rumor because I read something else today. But it was said that Glamour magazine is going to name Caitlyn Jenner the Woman of the Year. And my comment was simply, at what point does this kind of stuff become offensive to women and like feminists, for example? And because this is a 70-year-old man who got breast implants, hormone therapy, facial surgery, and a wig, or maybe that's his hair. I don't know, her hair, and put on a dress, and now that's the best woman you can find for the whole year. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's an WNBA player who has cancer and is going through chemo and is still playing right
Well, and
now.
she's obviously not the best if she has cancer.
You're right. She messed
Jamie
up.
Eason.
She's
I vote for
defective,
Jamie
right?
Eason.
She's
Is that what you're
defective,
saying?
yeah.
She's defective.
But there's so many diplomats and like there's female presidents and prime ministers all over the world
And Jamie Eason.
I don't know who that is.
Jeff's crush.
Huh?
She's a fitness model.
Oh, one of those 6-pack
Yeah.
ladies.
She's married with children, churchgoer, Texas.
Big, huge
A lot of
shoulders.
things. Oh, you lie. She has a nice butt.
Boulders.
Now, so
Just look it up.
It's just like what, are women going to be offended by it? And it was really an open-ended question. I'm not a woman, so I don't get to say that I'm offended. But it was just like,
Well, you can say you're offended,
but I'm not.
You're not saying.
I've never been
But
offended.
you're not
I can't remember
offended
the last
as a
time.
woman because
Right.
you're not a woman. So
I don't
I
know what
think
offended
it's a little
means.
bit strange
Well,
that there's
let's
so
flip it.
many
Accomplished women.
Actual. No, wasn't it you that said it's Glamour
Yeah.
magazine?
Yeah,
Like, why should we expect?
I'm not really.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Well, let's flip the question.
And that makes a lot of sense.
John.
Yeah.
But still, yeah,
flip
go
the,
ahead.
Flip the question. If there was a girl gendered to a guy,
Wind.
would it piss you off? If it was, man of the year, wasn't.
If it was which
Yeah.
No, it was
which
Fallon
shares
Fox, that MMA fighter who
Right.
who's the transgender.
If that was the man of the
if
year.
that was the man of the year.
Now,
Personally,
thinking
still-
about that, I think I probably would be pretty pissed off about that because it would seem to me like a feminist sort of aggression for them to be like the
See.
best man of the year is a woman who now had some surgery or something attached to her.
I
Wait
still,
a minute. So there's
Right
a
away, it's
there's
stuck
a
in your
there's
crawl.
a
You're like, it sticks in my
there's an
crawl.
MMA fighter that used to be a female and now she's a male.
No,
and-
used to be a male.
Oh,
and now
okay,
she's
okay.
fighting women
Okay.
in
No,
the
yeah,
cage.
yeah, yeah.
Joe
Yeah, no,
Rogan
yeah.
is well known for being
But-
totally against this,
Right.
Because men, there's more to it than just testosterone. There's the width of your shoulders. There's the torque in your arms, the length of your arms, the proportions. There's
Bone
your
density.
Bone
there's
density
like-
is a good one.
So that, so that's kind
fast
of the
twitch
same
muscles.
to me as like her being the woman of the year,
Her being the man of the year.
the woman of the year.
Maybe
She's
woman
not a
of the
man
year.
anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Did I say man?
No, I was wrong.
No, but John was thinking of the opposite, which it would be more like
What Jeff
what's
was
her
saying.
what's her name?
I was just thinking of another comparison along this
Cher's daughter, son,
It was
Bono, Chastity Bono,
and now it's
Chaz.
Chaz.
Chaz Bono. If
Was the
they
man
came
of
on and
the
said
year.
like she's the man of
Chaz
the year,
Bono,
yeah.
man of the
Right.
year.
Exactly. And that would be I
I'd
would
be
I
like
wouldn't
that.
like it.
I mean, honestly though,
And look,
it would
all-
kind
and
of crack
almost,
me up. But
almost every woman that responded
Yeah, I would
on my
not.
post.
I wouldn't be offended. I'd think it's funny.
I'd be like, this is what magazine is? I'm like, is it Mad Magazine?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would think. Is it Mad Magazine's Man of the Year? Like, how weird is it getting? But
The Onion posted.
yeah.
yeah, but I don't think I'd get offended. But I think it would be pretty funny.
Right.
Like out of
I
all
fall
the
right in the
men-
middle. I
of
do
all the
give a shit
billions
for
of
that.
men in the world, that's our Man of the Year. Okay.
So,
Well, if along the Caitlyn Jenner thing came up at work this week, we've had a rash of gendering, and we have to block rooms and everything because we're not sure how to maintain the dignities.
right.
I was speaking to a dad the other day, and without names, I'm not violating.
You're talking
the
about
rules.
patients that
Patients.
are unclear about their gender.
Or,
think
no,
they're
they're
talking-
gendering. No, they're actually transitioning.
Oh,
And
so they say I'm a
I'm a
this,
female,
right.
but I'm not, a male. So we have to block rooms and everything because we don't know how to be sensitive. And one got really pissed off that the reason that, which way was it going? I guess he was have a block room is because I should be treated like everyone else. Like we're not sure what you are yet, kind of thing. And
Right.
he went ape shit, testosterone, and everything. There was a guy who rolls jujitsu at another school in town.
Uh-huh.
Had to choke him down.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he actually hurt people. Anyway, but I was talking to a dad.
And that's the thing with taking testosterone. Women who transition to men, the incidence of crime in that population skyrockets when they transition to men. It's because they're taking testosterone and they start committing crimes. It doesn't say a lot for us.
It's a hell of a
No,
as
drug.
men,
that's
but
not an endorsement
yeah.
by any means. For
no,
the
but
penis.
it's
Or
not.
The testosterone.
It's a hell of a drug, man. Testosterone.
So what were you saying, Jeff?
What?
You're saying the father?
Yeah, I was talking to a dad because there's a release and all that. He wants to talk about his kid, and he wasn't accepting her going. She becoming he, and he thinks she has a bunch of friends who they're using gendering as their reason for being able to do all kinds of stupid shit. Because then they just say, "I'm confused now," and she's in a hospital. Psychiatric hospital with depression and
How
suicidal
old is
ideation.
this person?
She's 18, or he's 18. However, we've had other patients that are doing that. The other one that went ape nuts was like 24, 25. And I think it's this guy is thinking about it because it's affecting his family. That here's this new trend. It's not even a real thing. At some point, it's going to blow itself out. Like I don't know, fur babies or whatever. But right now, they have to deal with it, and this guy's footing the bill for all this psychiatric treatment. And he really thinks she's just a spoiled brat and using this as a way to kind of get at daddy.
Now, a lot of parents of gay kids are known to say that. In fact, I just had to do 12 admissions essays for this kid who is has Asperger's, and he's like a math genius and stuff, but he can't write very well. So for my job, had to do all these college admissions essays for him, and he was also he's also gay. And grew up in an Orthodox Jewish household. And one of the things he wrote, he gave me a lot of information so I could write these essays for him, which ask for a lot of personal information. And he was saying that his parents thought he was just they accused him of just acting gay to get attention for years and stuff. And I think we probably would agree that being gay is a real thing.
It's a real thing, of course.
And so I'm just taking the devil's advocate because I've brought this up before, how transgender and transsexuals, there might, this is a very not PC thing to say, but there might be a mental illness thing going on there. And when you look at the rate of suicides and stuff, that seems to endorse it. But I think the rate of suicides for gays is also higher. Now, people on the right will use that to say, well, see, gays have a mental illness and they should be cured. So it's a real muddy waters to get in. I don't know the answer.
But what's a mental illness? Because narcissism used to be considered a mental illness, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
it's a personality disorder.
Narcissistic
personality disorder.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's plenty of people that are narcissistic that don't have a mental disorder. They're just narcissistic.
According to the DSM-5, they do.
If they took the test and they scored a certain number, then they would have.
Right. Well, I'm saying to a degree, like. So
I know what
to
you're
an extreme
saying.
degree,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll quit
That's
busting your balls, dude. I know what you're saying.
You got three mental health guys in here that have worked.
But when
in
it
the
becomes
system,
a detriment, where it becomes a danger, that's where.
Right.
I mean, I would love to be a narcissist.
Right,
I would love to live on 2
until it gets
hours
to
of
that
sleep.
level, I think you would call it a neuroses, right? Like he's kind of narcissistic. He's a little neurotic about.
Right.
Or he's just a cocksucker. Okay, he's
Well,
just an asshole.
it's like
Oh, no,
addiction.
that's-
It's like addiction.
Yeah,
Like
he's just a jerk.
you can say, "Oh, I'm addicted to TV or this or that," and the truth is, it's not really an addiction until it interferes with
with your life,
their
right.
daily life. That's
Right.
when it's a real addiction, and probably the same is true with a mental illness. If we were trying to give some kind of definition,
When it affects your daily
But so what I'm
living.
saying is, some kids could be attention seekers and use being gay, pretend they're gay or that they want to be trans or whatever.
And that's what this
to
dad
get that
is
attention, like
endorsing.
Jeff was saying. But then that wouldn't really be a mental illness. It just
behavior.
Whereas
Exactly.
there are other people who maybe really are attention seeking to an extreme degree that is harmful and is like a mental illness.
Yeah.
That could be doing the same thing, but they're not.
But in terms of the trans issue itself and whether it should be considered a mental illness, another thing is that after the reassignment surgery, we're talking the big surgeries,
Snips and
the
pokes
snips
and ads
and
and
ads, and after that, the suicide rate goes even up even higher. So we have to ask, and with the hormone replacement, it's some parents are doing it to their children. They're doing it to young children. They're giving them hormones so that they don't go through puberty. It's really getting weird, and we have to know. Like, let's just assume that all of us want the best for transgender people. We want the best. Okay, let's just say
without a doubt.
we don't hate them or something.
No,
no one
okay,
at this
no.
table does.
No.
So with that assumption, then you have to ask: is this surgery something that doctors and psychiatrists should endorse, or does it lead to more problems down the line? So that's the question. I don't think there's a clear answer.
Do they do sex reassignment surgery in the U.S.? Are
Yeah,
they
of
doing
course.
that? Because I mean, it's been a long time, but I thought that they had to run a
No.
battery test. You have to go through years and years of.
I think you do.
There's the process.
Yeah, there
all
is a
kinds of
process.
stuff. And then
done
it was
in the
like in
US.
Sweden.
You
they
can't
had
just
to-
walk in tomorrow and
No,
come out.
right. Yeah, that's
and
true.
come out female. Like they won't. Nobody will do that.
No.
But they are doing it now in the U.S. It's not. You don't have to. Fly to
you
Sweden
can. You
to
can.
get it
No.
done.
No.
You can do
There's
it.
probably 3
Yeah.
institutes here in town that'll do it. Probably more. I'm just guessing.
Have
You,
have you read anything about like why after the surgery suicide rates go even higher?
They don't know why. Studies are
Hmm.
confined to one thing usually, and they just find out. This was a correlational study, which just shows higher suicide rates in this group after the surgery, and it doesn't tell you why.
But there, there's more crime when there's more ice cream sold. Oh, because it's summer and people are out more.
Right. Correlation and not causation.
Now,
exactly.
I guess a thread that I was looking at was someone on the path to doom anyway, and they let's say at one point, hey, I'm going to do drugs to feel better. That didn't work. I'm going to drink. No, that didn't work. I'm going to watch a shitload of TV. That didn't work. I still am a miserable person. I have an idea. Maybe I'm really a girl. And is it still just something that someone who is just completely unable to be happy with their life, and it's another thing that they find to change, but it ain't like just getting a tattoo.
Right.
So
that's a very good point.
It's a big deal. So
and they used to call it gender dysphoria.
Right.
And it was a feeling, it was this pathological feeling that you're not who you are.
Right, but then you think that those people would get weeded out in the process.
Well, and that's
and
subjective.
Not get to the point where they can actually have the surgery done.
Yeah.
I mean, I am in no way opposed to people switching teams if they want to. If that's how you really
and having control over their own bodies,
right? But like we're alluding to is someone going to be unhappy the whole time?
Right.
Should we blow this money on this? Or if I'm a doctor and someone shows up with a bucket of cash, hey, as long as you don't get any infection later, I'll cut you up any way you want to.
Well, a female friend of mine responded to that post, and most of the women that did respond to my post about Caitlyn Jenner and how this was maybe offensive for getting Woman of the Year. Most of the women were like, "Yep, you're right. It is.
It is offensive.
This is dumb." And these are feminist women that would call themselves, nominally feminist, and they didn't like it. And now, but then one of
Which cuts against their feminist grain of
accepting all of anything gender or they were
standard.
Well, I think it shows them to be smart because they're distinguishing between stuff like equal rights for women and gays and cultural things like Glamour magazine they're distinguishing. They're not being dogmatic.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. So, but a female friend of mine disagreed with me, and we talked in private message. She was talking about how she always felt masculine, and that her parents would make fun of her almost for being masculine. She thought she had a really low voice, and I was, and how Caitlyn Jenner for her was kind of inspiring in a way. She's not trans or anything, but she liked the fact that someone spoke out about that feeling that they have of not quite fitting in their body. But I have the same thing. Like, I always thought my voice was really high pitched and that I was feminine in a lot of ways, and it used to bother me, and now it doesn't. Now I see it as that's just who I am. I have maybe more feminine qualities than most men. I'm not sure if that's true, but anyway, that's a feeling I had, and it kind of shows you how, like you were saying, Jeff, maybe you could get to the point of having a lot of problems in your life and thinking this will fix it, and then you can think back and kind of create memories of how I always felt this way.
Right.
Like, isn't that really easy to kind of say, no, I always felt this way? Like, when people are in the depths of depression and they're suicidal, and I've spoken to a lot of such people, some of them very close to me, they always say, no, you try to, there's no way to talk someone out of that horrible pit, but you try, and you're like, you were happy a couple of weeks ago, and remember that good time that we had?
And they don't see it.
And they don't see it. Yeah. They color the whole past with the lens that they're looking through right now, and they say, no, it was always there. It was always, this depression, and it was always in the back of my mind. And honestly, I don't believe them. And when they come out of it later and they're okay again, they agree with me. They're like, no, I was just I was just really sad, and that's how I was looking at things. And no, we really did have a good time those times, and it was, I do, so people, I want people that go through depression to understand that, because there's no way to pop out of it or snap out of it. It really isn't. You just got to ride it out. But to me, as an intellectual type person, it helps to know that the feeling I'm having is a kind of a lie. It's something that my emotional state is making up, and it'll tell me that everything was awful for my whole life and the good times weren't really good times. But that's a lie, and I just want people. Maybe that'll help them ride it out, to know that the way they're looking at things is kind of a falsehood.
But that happens a lot. That happened with kids and the whole satanic cult thing, with false memory. Kids in the 80s being brought up and thinking that they had been that they had seen some other kids sacrificed in front of them.
Yeah,
and all
there
this
was
because
a big scare on the news about
Right.
satanic cults, and it was one of these things that it was kind of all made up. Like there's been a couple bad things that Satanists did every couple of years, but there was no epidemic of Satanism. Yeah. But in the 80s, yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah, but isn't that pretty much just like some guys burning down a church in Norway, like some death metal guys? Like that's what Satanists do.
Well, there's
that's
that.
The worst stuff they do.
That was one occurrence, but
right.
There was a bunch of dudes in bands, like.
Yeah,
and as teenagers, it wasn't even really Satanism as much as just like
death metal,
teen kicks, whatever. But I was talking about like so in the 80s, these kids, because of seeing stuff on TV and then their psychologists talking to them and their parents thinking stuff like, they were convinced that they had been in these cults, and even there had been child abuse, victims the same way, and then even people that are in AA and NA and stuff like that, they get convinced that their past life when they were on drugs or drinking like it was completely miserable, and they never had a good time, and they never and it was completely terrible,
right?
And then so now they believe that, well, without that stuff, I can be good and I can have happiness and I can feel good.
And the pendulum swings both ways, because when you're ecstatic or feeling a feeling of ecstasy or extreme happiness or joy, everything looks great. All the tragedies in life, you can view them with the sort of wise eye of like, well, this is all within the great plan, and it's just the universe balancing itself out, and those bad things need to happen. But when you die, you're not really dead, and it's all okay. Like, you can look at everything and be happy about it when you're in that state.
Right.
Unfortunately, that state seems a lot more rare than the negative one. But
I thought you were talking about cocaine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is. Yeah, drug.
Suddenly, I couldn't feel my face and
your gums.
Yeah.
Now, so it swings both ways. That's kind of a lie too. That
swings
feeling.
both ways. That's kind of
Caitlyn Jenner.
Nice.
We're done with that.
But that means we're officially on to the next topic. That was bridging.
Oh,
I don't know. I made that shit up too. I'm the only one keeping
but so the
lighthearted.
Caitlyn Jenner thing, like, I think it's ridiculous or whatever. Glamour magazine, who gives a fuck? But I do think it's stupid for people to think like you can award someone like that the woman of the year when really she hasn't done anything.
Nothing.
I mean, that's, if you're being given the man or the woman of the year, it should be because of something you did, not just because you're a woman or not just because you're a man.
Right.
Because it's like...
Right.
Yeah, there's no accomplishment there.
Right,
I mean, the Olympics victories were when he was a man, so that doesn't count.
Does he still have his junk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, to be woman of the year, should you maybe
you need an innie, not an outie.
You gotta, sorry, buddy,
because a girl has an innie.
Yeah.
Boys have penises and girls have vaginas.
I just think that we have to honor biology to a certain degree here, or at least be through with the whole.
In my opinion of what to call her is just call her what she asks you to call her.
I'll call you Caitlyn, but that doesn't make you a woman.
Right.
I'm not going to arm wrestle
biology.
you.
It doesn't call you whatever the fuck you want me to call you.
I mean, and the thing is here, this person, Caitlyn Jenner, is against gay marriage and views womanhood in the most stereotypical way possible. High heels, tight dress, long hair, big boobs.
Well, she's a conservative Republican. She lives in Orange County, doesn't she?
Right. So for people on the left to defend every move by this person is really kind of the left eating its own tail, which happens a lot. So it's, if you really want to defend this conservative, kind of bigoted person, or I don't know, who doesn't believe in gay marriage and all the stuff that you on the left believe in, think about that.
He's playing fucking dress up.
If she would have done something cool, like all of a sudden built a kids cancer research foundation or something,
right,
or
used all this profits that she's getting,
or even went like, that's it. I'm going to just be completely destitute and give everything I've got.
And there's the whole traffic fatality thing.
There's a whole thing that she actually to become a woman, it almost seems like she made a deal with the devil and had to kill a real woman because she did.
Yeah, like
in traffic.
Woman of the year, like just run them down, like speed bump 2 people next year, and you could repeat.
Yeah,
You could go back to back.
Get a kid in a baby white seal. Let you take a ball kid. Now you've just the century.
Yeah.
Satan was like, if you want to be a
could
woman,
be a three-peat, dude.
I'll let you be a woman, but you have to kill a real woman first, and then you can take her soul and her feminine energy.
So they're just not going to saw a fiddle or play a guitar.
Yeah, now it's all about private parts. The devil's getting
Private
weird.
parts. That was Howard Stern's book.
Yeah,
But we can leave that.
and
out.
movie.
And movie. Well,
He talks about it every day
Yeah.
for the last 35 years.
I used to write him in for president.
Listen to that windbag.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done.
His interviews are good, but he's just anyway.
I'm the greatest thing ever. Blah. Blah,
Yeah,
blah.
the king of all media.
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah.
I can't even bring myself to say that.
One thing that really got my goat this week was learning.
Got John's goat. This is a new segment called
Brian.
John's
Brian's
goat.
My goat was
John
completely
got.
gotten.
All
I
right.
mean, it was just
John had a
absconded.
goat.
Well, let's hear about your gotten goat.
Well, you learn about the corruption in our political process.
I don't think there is. I think it's a pure system.
Oh yes, that's
You could drink it without filtering it.
it does only good.
Breathe in, breathe out.
We should
I'm
trust
better.
it more.
Oh my God! Let me lay my
Who
balls off.
was that actress that said?
Mark, when you said we should trust it more, I would looked at Mark to see if he was going to have a seizure.
Yeah,
We
Who
should
is-
trust the government.
There
No,
was-
I-
who was this actress that said, "I love Obama, and I wish we could just give him all the power he needs to do all of his goals and not be stopped by these other politicians." And it's like,
So Caitlyn Jenner
Oh.
next year run that chick over.
Yeah.
You'll get the repeat.
yeah. I wish we could give the president all the power he needs just to
Who
do.
was it? Tori Spelling? I guess it's somebody like that.
Remember the self-driving car we were talking about earlier?
Right.
I wish we could have a self-voting government.
What does that mean?
Means all I have to do is like walk into the polls and it votes for itself. It determines who's the best and
But
votes
how do
for
we know it
itself.
doesn't
Yeah,
happen?
yeah.
And then
Then
the
I
government
wouldn't,
sets that
wouldn't
up.
have to
and-
have that silly
yeah,
choice.
there would be no more corruption.
Yeah,
There'd be
yeah.
No, John, who would you have program that? If one person had to program it,
The self-voting.
yeah,
Steve Hawking.
would it be your boy Chomsky?
No.
You're like, I want you to. We're going to have to murder Bernie Sanders
Palin.
and inject him
Yeah.
like
into the program.
into the machine. He's going to have to be the ghost in the machine.
Maybe Bill Murray would be in charge of it.
That is an awesome choice.
That's the best I could do.
Because you might be cool, dude, but you're not fucking Bill Murray cool. Let's be real. You're not that fucking cool.
Exactly.
No matter how cool you are, you're not Bill Murray.
He's dating like a
Chive on.
20-year-old woman or
Well, it's
something.
like he'll crash your wedding and play the piano and shit,
pay
buy
for shit.
drinks.
He
yeah,
can
like-
he can just sit in a chair with no expression on his face, and I would start
Fucking laugh,
laughing
yeah.
so hard.
'Cause he's
That's
that
what most
funny.
of his movies are. There's just him with that deadpan expression nowadays.
Cinderella story of the century there, Caitlyn Jenner.
So I got pissed off because I learned about
she'll have complete consciousness at the time that she gets her balls snipped off.
So I got
he got all of that. Well, she got all of that one.
from
the Daily
Caddyshack.
Llama.
I learned about super delegates. So this is a fundamentally a problem with the Democratic Party, who invented. So they had a couple elections like McGovern. Now, who did McGovern run against? Was it Nixon or Reagan?
It was Nixon.
Yeah, and Nixon won every state except for one and D.C. in the general election against McGovern. And McGovern was this progressive kind of hero, almost like a Bernie Sanders type character. And the Democratic Party walked away from that election just, it was just, this could never happen again. We can never elect another person that the people really love, but who can't win in the general. And so to protect itself, like any organization or body, the Democratic Party invented superdelegates. So there's thousands of delegates in the nation for the Democratic Party. And when a region of voters votes for, candidate A, the delegates in that region vote in the Democratic National Convention for that candidate. So that's the way the people's vote gets translated into picking a nominee for the party for the general election. And except then after McGovern, they invented superdelegates, which are make up 1/5 of the total delegates. So there's about 790 of them. And they aren't beholden to any voters. They can vote whichever way they want at the Democratic National Convention. So if it's Hillary versus Bernie, they can vote. And let me list off a few names of who they are. Bill Clinton, Al Gore.
Which way do you think Bill's going to go?
Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I'm not sure, Bill. I'm sure he'll just pick the best candidate for the job. So, in other words...
Well, he doesn't have to tell her who he voted for, so...
Yeah, and it would kind of be in his style to not vote for his wife.
Well, and I mean,
Maybe
it would
he
mean
has
he
good
would
reason.
it would
I don't
mean he
know.
would have to lie to her, but
That's not anything new for those guys. No, she'd probably think, no, you're lying because it sounds too truthy.
Yeah. So, 1/5 of these delegates have no connection to the voters, and they're all basically gonna vote for Hillary because she's the establishment candidate within the party. The party doesn't like Bernie, never has. He wasn't part of it for his whole career, and now he's running as a Democrat. But they don't like him, and they don't think he can win. And there might be some truth to that. But so, in other words, this is one of the things blocking his chances. And Hillary has all those
blocking his chances to be the
nominee,
Democratic nominee,
right?
Not blocking his chances really from winning, because he could still run as a third party candidate.
But it's an automatic loss, though.
No, it's not an automatic loss, John, because if you think that he automatically would lose because he's running not as a Republican or a Democrat, then I think you would think that he couldn't win as a Democratic nominee either.
No,
it's the same logic.
No, it
the
isn't.
same logic.
It's ridiculous.
Let me ask you
party.
this: does he have enough name right? You
don't think he has enough name recognition now? You don't think enough people fucking want him?
Like what? Let me ask you this: why?
Why?
Would you change your vote if Bernie ran as a third party and not a Democrat? Would you not vote for him then?
Of course, I would vote for him.
Wouldn't everybody that was going to vote for him anyway?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because when you run as an independent, you have to do 1,000 times more work and spend more money to get on the ballot. You don't get automatically on the ballot just because you're Bernie Sanders running as an independent. That's the whole purpose that he's running as a Democrat for the Democratic Party, because they have all this infrastructure.
Run on a write-in Bernie campaign, like revolutionize, revolution by vote.
Yeah, some states don't have write-ins. It's ridiculous. That's independent candidate cannot win in this. I'm not saying they could never win if things didn't slowly change. Cannot win in this election, period, or any of the past ones. So Ross Perot was able to do it through an extreme expenditure of money.
And I know this is revolutionary. What you're saying is that the system's rigged to keep in power who the people in power want in power?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wow.
all about self-preservation of the party itself.
Does anybody here feel like that's news?
Now, in the Republican Party, I was corrected by my friend Barnaby. He said, no, the Republicans have this too. They're called unpledged delegates, and they do have them, but there's 195 of them versus the 795 that the Democrats have. So, and the Democrats invented the unpledged delegate. The Republicans just they were like, ooh, that's a good idea. We don't want a candidate we don't like winning our party nomination either. So we'll do that too. But it's worse in the Democratic Party, and they came up with it because of McGovern. So, that was I didn't like that.
Boo.
And so that's why
I did get your goat.
Right. Well, but that's why I think this next election, and not even the election, but the primaries that are coming up, are probably going to be pretty crucial to the spirit and just involvement of people in politics in America, because if that does happen and Bernie does not become the nominee because of those superdelegates, and people see that, they wanted him and they voted for him, and still, he got shut out because of the party's wishes, then either people are going to become extremely disillusioned. Yeah. And then either they are going to go, you know what, fuck you, and we're going to change this shit and we don't want that happening again. And so then they will change it and things will happen, or they'll say, fuck you, we're not participating anymore. Yeah. And guess, voter turnout is the single biggest indicator of who will win. Low voter turnout makes a Republican win.
high voter turnout makes the Democrat win. And I like to think that says something about the liberal side. That's good. But regardless, if there's 30% of left voters who want Bernie Sanders and Hillary gets forced down their throat anyway, and by the way, I think she'll win not from superdelegates but from actual votes, probably, unfortunately. But if 30% of that voting bloc is really pissed off because she wins anyway, and she's not anything like him, those voters aren't going to, I mean, maybe half of them will jump onto her. You know, they'll be like, all right, I'll vote for Hillary. But the other half will not. And that's 15% of the party voting electorate. And they won't show up at the polls in the general election. And so you'll get a Republican president as a result. And another reason not to run as independent, though I don't agree with it, is the whole thing that, you do screw the party that you came from. So if you're a disillusioned Democrat, you run as an independent, you're taking votes away from the Democrats in the general election. Like, everyone blames Ralph Nader for George W. Bush winning the Electoral College in 2000.
Yeah, wasn't Bernie an independent till now? Didn't he just jump on the Democratic bandwagon right at the end?
Yes.
What the fuck does it matter if he jumps off?
Well, people...
He always was. Like,
yeah,
You just came, you put on a donkey suit, you went up on stage.
Yeah.
You can take your donkey suit off and go back to being Bernie. But did the superdelegates, did it take the burn out of your sails, dude? It did, huh?
But oh man, I'm all full steam ahead for Bernie, but
also I mean, hope though, bro. Hope's the steam in the sails.
Yeah, well, I figured out how. I was like, I wonder how this delegate thing works, and I keep hearing this word super delegate. What does it mean? So I looked it up, and it was not a pleasant experience on Wikipedia.
Well, but also the what you just were talking about, Nader and George W. Bush and blah blah blah. That shows the corruption in the system because everyone, like you said, does blame Nader and the people that voted for Nader for George W. Bush winning. When, if you actually look at it, George W. Bush did not win, and the people who handed him the election were the fucking Supreme Court, which it was complete bullshit, and nothing happened. The American public did not fucking rise up. They did not say, you know what, fuck this. This is not who we voted for.
Well, the state that gave him the Electoral College votes was Florida, and the governor of Florida, Bryan?
Jeb.
But what I'm saying is this shit already happened, and nobody did anything.
Yep.
So why should it be any different this next coming election?
You know, Democrats and liberals are more, I dare say, they're more establishment and mainstream people and obedient people than conservatives. Now, there's a lot of picket fence conservatives out there who play by every rule, and they're totally by the book, frightened, silly people. But I just think among liberals, it's a slightly more prevalent. They're more willing to say things like, I wish we could give Obama all the power that he needs and just undermine our whole democracy, you know, in a second. I mean, people on the right do it too. You know, we should make abortion illegal and we should, you know, do all these crazy things. But, you know, I do see it as a flaw among liberals that they're very obedient people and they're willing to fall in line with someone like Hillary. Whereas on the right, you see, you know, look at all these candidates and the people are spread out among them, you know, pretty well. Trump still in the lead, but Ben Carson has now pulled ahead in Iowa, the first primary state. So, Jeff, who do you like, man? Who do you like on the right? Be honest.
No one.
You don't involve yourself at all in electoral politics?
I have completely exhausted any kind of energy for things that it's out of my control, and I would take my individual responsibility on a daily basis as a paramount activity.
Fair enough, my friend. I mean, can't argue with that.
And I just don't. The government doesn't give a shit, a fuck, or a good goddamn about anyone else but itself. Like you said, it's a self-perpetuating situation.
Right.
Whatever.
I just see involvement as a way to manipulate government the way it was meant to be by the people through involvement.
Yeah, except for as you learn more, you realize that it doesn't do that.
It's dodging your manipulation. Yeah. The superdelegate alone is like, oh, wait a minute, we'll just invent this stuff.
Yeah,
and And that's one of the fantasies that government likes you to believe, is that you can involve yourself and even manipulate
Yeah, it's almost
stuff.
like a moral duty. You should go vote. Think of everyone who died for your ability to vote. Like, think of all the people you're stepping on to tell me that it's my moral right to vote and everything when you're fucking it over.
There's a lot of truth to that. But
that's why I'm more interested in local politics than anything.
Right.
I mean, my car drove on a road here that my money somewhere. Hopefully, when I pay taxes, someone said, "Hey, that's a good idea. We go fix Grant Road." Good idea. Way to go.
Yeah.
We got hungry people down at the park. No general election is going to pay for that shit. There needs to be something for
City
those
ordinance.
people right there.
Yeah.
Hi, hungry? Yeah. I need a job.
And you
Yeah.
can elect, like sheriffs are elected, for example, and
Right.
that's a good thing to elect your
But
police.
once you get past the state, I've said that before on the show. It's like once I get past the state, I really don't care because the cultures are different in different parts of the state. Even then,
Governing a nation of this size through an executive, a single executive and 9 Supreme Court.
It was
12. How many Supreme Court justices?
12.
12?
It was bound to fail, dude.
Or no, I'm sorry.
Bound to
9.
fail?
It was
Yeah,
bound
9.
to fail. The cool thing I think about it is it's going to be like on a grander scale, like for those lucky folks who were in Vegas when they demolitioned the Sands, when it just
yeah.
drops, like on a grander scale, it'll be like that.
Right.
Fun. Glad we're here to see it.
Fun. You have I thought you were a patriot. Does that have nothing to do with
Whoa,
our unique
whoa.
political
Country
I am.
system?
country
am,
versus
dude.
government.
Like
Hey,
John,
man, you
John,
can't divorce representative democracy from what it is to be American.
Hey,
or American.
I love the Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
One of the places I love the most burned to the fucking ground this year. Didn't stop from happening. All the love I have in the world for it didn't stop it from happening.
No, but I'm just asking your opinion about representative democracy. You said it was bound to fail.
Oh, governing a nation of this size, of this many people, with this much corruption is bound to fail.
Well,
It is on some level, and it's going to have to be colossal.
Yeah, because
It's going to have to be colossal eventually. The
So-
failure is going to have to be like epic.
well, I mean, think of what
Like Hollywood movie
Not a slow-
fucked
not a
up
slow
epic.
decline.
think of the
Well,
amount
yeah,
of
but it can still end there.
yeah.
If you end up in the sewer, it doesn't matter if you fell directly through a hole or if you slid down
Rolled
a
down a
gradual
hill.
slide and ended up in the fucking shit
Right,
water. You're
right.
still in the shit water.
But to steer it back on course, don't you need? You're just saying it's too far gone.
Well, it
Nothing
doesn't
can
matter
be
what
done?
we do, man. We get super
Well,
delegated right out of it, bro. You can vote for
that's
whoever
you-
you want.
Yeah, you've already.
I was in Arizona
No.
when we said yes to medicinal marijuana like fucking 15 years ago, and
It's like 89, 90.
Yeah. Oh, so longer.
It was even longer.
Yeah, so and it didn't turn into that. Didn't happen until what, like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But it did happen.
But the one that we voted for it the first time, they said, "Nope, don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Wrong. Sorry, no. Here's your vote.
the governor
We're going to leave
veto
it in
it
the
or
can."
something?
Yeah, somebody did something.
So what's your?
No, it
opinion,
wasn't the
Mark?
governor. It might have been the governor, but it was basically that got voted on, and the
No, yeah.
majority
Won
said
the
yes, we
majority
want
vote.
medicinal marijuana.
We've talked about it before.
And then and basically,
But what were you
Arizona
going to
State
say
government
about
said-
democracy and being
well,
involved?
what I was going to say was, so when we originally started out with this, how many people were in this country? How many states were there, if there were any states? How much land was it?
13 original colonies.
Right, 13 original colonies. I mean, how many people were in those colonies?
10, 15 million.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
and
less,
then,
maybe
Google
less.
and then
Well, the
how
point is,
many?
it's not-
And then how many of those people were actually allowed to participate in the government and selection
Well,
of the
not
government
those
too?
white-
Only
Landowners.
land-owning white males.
Right. So
Land owning,
What
not
percentage?
indentured
What
servants,
percentage
not-
of 10 to 15 million was that? Is that 1 million people? Is that 2 million people? Is
Maybe.
that
The point is a
Less.
severe small slice.
Right.
right?
So
So
governing the-
now we are what 300 million,
Yeah.
Or more?
More.
and
350.
and we're doing the
count
same
illegals.
thing. We're trying to do it the same way.
Well, so what are you saying though? You got to have 5 presidents or what? What? How does it?
I don't know.
What do
Well,
you do?
I don't know, but
You
I
gotta-
would imagine that something
We're here
would
to
have
fix
to be
things,
different.
guys. I mean,
I would imagine something has to change. I mean,
because the
if
number
you-
of
if you-
representatives
if you
in
open up a
Congress
store, if
has
you-
gone up
if
with
you
the
open
population.
right, but if you open up a store and you're like, okay, we're going to serve this community and going to help them out, and then the community grows exponentially, 100 times what it was, and you're still like, well, we're still this store and we're still serving all
So we
these
need to
people. It's like,
franchise our
no, we
Open
haven't.
branches.
Which I think
Yeah.
we're
States' rights.
already franchising the government.
That means states' rights, right? Because to franchise is like spreading out the responsibility.
Yeah, and that's
That's
even
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
Constitution. The federal government all powers that weren't given to the federal government in the Constitution are given to the states.
That's what I've been saying.
I don't know. I like
then,
the federal government when the states are crazy.
Well, no, but this
Texas is shutting down. You can't get an abortion in Texas,
but this is,
which means you're gonna
John,
get it
so let
from
me
a
continue,
witch doctor.
Let me continue my
in the
thought.
bayou.
Let me continue my thought.
Yes.
So you give states rights, the rights that the federal government were not assigned, but you still protect the individual. That it goes from macro or micro to macro, and as you get smaller, those rights are increased and more protected. So just because you give the states the rights that the federal government has, the states can't take away rights from the individual. Meaning they can't say, "Oh, you can become a slave, or you don't have a vote, or you can't do what you want to do with your body,
but
or you can't do this."
Are they taking away Kim Davis's rights by telling her that she has to marry gay people? Is that a violation of rights?
First off, that wouldn't even be a right because it's not a right. Getting married is not a right.
Plus, it's her job, right? And so she has to do the things.
If you're talking about something like that, the government would not be involved in marrying to begin with. You would not get any tax breaks for getting married to someone. Government would not be fucking issuing a certificate to get married.
Yeah.
If you want to go get married in your church, go ahead. If you want to get married, whatever, go ahead. That's on you. But the government's not involved.
Yeah, I don't think it should be, because that's where all these financial stresses of marriage. So many of them are derived from the threat of divorce and the fact that the woman will get a lot of money and the kids because the state will force it to be that way, and that's the cause of a lot of marital strife. And if the government just got out of that,
well, and the whole reason that the government wants you getting married and having kids is so that the government has more citizens.
Yeah.
And then
taxpayers.
Yeah, taxpayers and people to send to war.
Well,
and,
I bet you the feminists are going to love your take on community property states there, John.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know if that's why there's a lot of marital strife. I think the community property state was kind of a protection for women so that they couldn't be like kind of held in that marriage without jobs and skills and then kicked out into the fucking cold with nothing to do and no way to support themselves and no viable marketable skills, so they would be entitled to half the assets because they managed the house and didn't go out and
wouldn't
work.
Be destitute.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I get.
No, that's the origin of that. Makes sense.
I think financial.
No, that's a good point.
I think financial stress is whether you're married or not.
Yeah, that's
is a big deal between couples because when you have your individual stresses, you kind of escape them in each other. But when you start sharing space and sharing place and sharing bank accounts, and then you're sharing stress, so you're already sharing.
Well,
so it's already something between you. So it's a problem.
It stresses individuals. It's going to stress couples. You
If
make a good point too.
I would
about
say if it's not real, man. If you have
alimony.
true love, man, you're not like.
Yeah, I agree. And
that's the thing is lots of people are getting married that shouldn't be getting married, and probably some of that is because of we get a tax break, and if we have kids, we get more tax breaks, and we do. I mean,
well, I know if you're in the military, you get different. Like you'll get different allowance for quarters and stuff, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't think that's a little tiny portion of marriages are motivated by that kind of thing.
Well, I know some guys make the decision to do it earlier if they're going to deploy because of reason. It has to be something to do with financial reasons or rights, like as far as
but soldiers
hospital goes.
Don't make up a
but if you think about it, lots of marriages happen because of circumstances or whatever that aren't involved with true love. You get a chick pregnant, and it's okay, now all of a sudden you have to marry her. It's like,
but that has nothing to do
so
with
you made one mistake and you got this girl pregnant. Now you're going to make a second mistake to correct the first mistake. It's like that. How does that work?
They did
two rights make a wrong, or two wrongs make a right. I don't know. I don't think so.
What Bryan was saying about a good loving relationship. They did a study recently, a qualitative study on different behaviors that help to ensure a healthy relationship and a good marriage. And it all came down to generosity and kindness. And
Imagine that.
Yeah. It was like being nice, like thinking about your partner, like maybe buying them a little present middle of the week for no reason.
A little note in the lunchbox.
See, I
lunchbox.
don't buy that it all comes down to that, because I'll tell you what is totally left out, and if you leave it out, you're full of shit, and then you probably don't have a good relationship.
I know where
and you're
this is
wondering
going.
why is fucking communication.
Oh,
You have to fucking communicate.
yeah.
Because
But I think
you're
it's
not
kind of-
always you're not always feeling kind and caring and
Right,
fucking
right,
happy.
right.
Sometimes you're feeling a little selfish and you feel like your toes are getting stepped on in the environment or the relationship. And if you can't communicate it and find some resolution and some common ground, then that shit festers.
But I think kindness and generosity presuppose
that you're going to
communication.
communicate because of those two things,
Right.
Well-
In other words, you're not letting your partner get pissed off about this thing
Yeah,
without
because I got to tell you,
addressing
I
it.
didn't make 21 years of marriage on kindness.
But
Like,
Well, you
and
have your own
I
thing
think
going.
I'm
Bryan-
very different with her than I am with a lot of people.
And I think Bryan has a very good point. And actually, I think communication probably supersedes kindness and generosity, because kindness and generosity basically puts you into a perspective of you're living in Disneyland. And
no,
that
it doesn't.
no, it does, because it says that, okay, kindness and generosity, that's all. Love is all you need. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. But communication, if you do not have communication, if you guys are not talking and communicating well, and you know what she wants or he wants or whoever the fuck you're married to, and they know what you want, then none of that other shit is going to work.
Right, but my point was that it kindness and generosity presuppose. I'm not saying
But
communication is less important. I'm saying if you're actually,
don't think
if
it
I'm
does,
really kind
John.
to Brian and really generous, I think that
You're
means
talking anyway. You're already
That you would
communicating.
think
That's
it
a
means
that's
that I'm
false.
communicating.
No,
Yeah.
but what I'm telling you is I think
Maybe
that
not.
puts the emphasis on the wrong thing.
Oh.
Because then the person hearing that thinks, I just need to be kind and generous. And then so they're being kind and generous as they see fit.
Yeah, but
and they're doing what they can do, and then maybe they don't think the other person is being kind and generous. Or maybe the person they're being kind and generous to, that they think they are, they don't feel that way, that they are being kind and generous to them. So if they don't communicate that stuff and figure it out, well, you might think you're doing something nice for me, but this is actually how I feel.
Yeah, but if
then-
you put the emphasis on communication, the same problem jumps up, because
How?
I'm telling you every day that, I don't like it when you do this. I don't like it when you do this. And I'm just communicating.
is that
And-
what communication
That's-
is to you
that's
in a relationship?
communication?
That you don't like something that the other person's doing?
No, but I'm saying if he said the problems that jump up if you only focus on kindness and generosity.
That's not
Here's an
communication,
example of
John.
Of
Because
course it is.
no, it's not.
I don't have to
Communication-
listen to be communicating.
Yes, you do.
No, I
That's
don't.
communication.
Yo,
Communication
listening
is
is a big
you
half of
telling
it.
me something,
And
me
you-
understanding it, and responding to it.
I just envision two people arguing who are both
That's
perfectly
not-
honestly
Sorry,
communicating
that's not-
their
no,
perspective
sorry,
to
that's
each
not
other, and
communication.
no goodness,
That's
no
not
resolution is
communication.
happening because there's no
that
kindness
is
or
not
generosity.
communication.
Would
That's not
you
communication.
say that there's a difference between arguing and what we do here?
Yeah.
Okay, then I would contend the same thing in a relationship. You're communicating. It doesn't
Oh.
mean you always agree, and it doesn't mean it's always going to be an easy solution.
But you are listening.
But you are communicating. You are listening.
Yeah.
You might not even be reasonable at the time. You might be angry, but you're willing to work through it because you're still talking. So although you can both be communicating and not be agreeing, it's way better than the alternative.
True.
I would just say, because I think as far
If
as
ever
this
there was a
goes, I
semantic
have rank at
argument.
the table, right? 21 years in a relationship.
Yeah.
23 if you count the whole thing. That would be, to me, I would say that's the most important thing. Because would you say that most people are fairly kind? On the
Yeah,
more than
I think I would.
50% are
Yeah.
fairly kind
Yeah.
people? So if more than 50% of people are getting divorced, which I think is what the statistic is, then it can't be kindness that's the problem. Because more than 50% of people are kind. So
Okay.
people are, you get together because you already like the person. We already had love. We already had kindness. We already had generosity between each other. What you have to build is the communication.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of things that are caught, not taught. Like you can't become kind. Like you can work at it to present that image, but if you're not, you're just probably not. You still kick the fucking puppy when nobody's in the room and get it away from you.
Yeah.
Right? You pet it when everybody's there, but then you're like, get the fuck out of here. As soon as everybody leaves the room, you're that guy. So the communication to me is what has kept us, because you don't have things that we don't go to sleep angry, man. I never leave the house if we're fighting. I don't go anywhere, man. We just sit there and get it done. The last words we speak are not ever going to be angry ones.
Right.
You know?
Well-
I don't bitch at her on the trail and go stomping off down the trail. I'll just stay right there till I figure out that I probably should say I'm sorry, and then
Right.
Most of our fights are on me. Let's be real.
Well, yeah.
Most of them.
Well, you're a passionate man.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I wanted to keep it to an hour. We're already at hour 15. We'll do 15 more. And 90 minutes. No one can. You can't.
90 minutes.
Listen
man.
to 90.
You got that.
Come on.
You can split it up yourself. You can self-edit that.
Yeah.
45 here, 45 there.
Exactly.
Hang out, man. We would hang out with you.
We would.
We would. I know that sounds slightly desperate and sad, but we would hang out with you.
The only other thing on my list, actually, besides this show that I really like, I don't know. We could anyway. We could talk about Jurassic World. This is just
John
really
the entertainment snob.
This is just really funny. And first of all, just because I don't like something that you like, does that make me a snob?
No, the fact that you're a fucking entertainment snob makes you a snob.
Right. Okay.
I think anybody who listens to the show who didn't know you beforehand, just how you talk to Beef about his music and how I know how you are about music, and like, yeah, that's great that you listen to that, but it sucks.
Yeah.
And
Mark does that more than I do.
No, I don't.
You talk about how music sucks that people like
but
all day long.
No, I talk about music that sucks that I don't like, that I don't think sucks.
And
I don't say like, oh, you love it? You're a fucking idiot. You like shitty
it's just
stuff.
A coincidence
I don't say
that you focus on the popular bands that you don't like and the popular things that you don't like. You don't listen to some obscure band and go online and be like, this band sucks.
Because no one would know what the fuck I was talking about.
All right. Anyway, I'm a snob.
He's right a lot of the time, though.
No, he isn't. He's never been right.
About bands that suck. I hear him. I've seen him point the finger at bands that suck, and I'd be like, "Yep."
Anyone who says
sucks.
Radiohead sucks, like you can not like them. And I, by the way, make this
Well,
distinction.
he did want to burn Tool
I
also. He wanted to burn the stage with Tool on it also.
Right.
Which is,
I make the
I don't
distinction.
think we've ever fully dealt with that, really.
I make the distinction between bands that I don't like and bands that are bad. There's a distinction there.
There's no distinction there for me.
Just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If I don't like you,
Exactly.
it's because you suck.
Exactly.
I don't,
so who's the
that's
snob?
the same thing.
Who's the bigger snob then? Because I can say I hate this.
Maybe both of you guys are snobs.
I can say
then.
I don't like this reggae band, but I can tell, or a blues band, like because I just don't, or jazz, for example. Like I there's no emotion in jazz, and I just don't like it. But I hear these guys, and they're amazing musicians, and so I can say that's probably good music, and I hate it.
No, well, you're conflating stuff because I can say someone's a good musician and know that they're a good musician and think that they play shitty music.
Like Dillinger Escape Plan, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's my example of, yeah.
I mean, there's plenty
They're
of
good
people that can
musicians?
be all. It's like, yeah, I don't care. Like,
That music
whatever.
you just played sucks.
Dillinger Escape Plan. That's my example of guys who are all good musicians and they play shit music.
Yeah, well, I go further and I say the music itself is good, and I don't like it.
Well,
But how can that be? Like if you go to
It's
a
an
restaurant,
enlightened
if you go to a
perspective.
restaurant and you're like, put something in your mouth and go,
That's
this
a great
tastes-
example.
This tastes
Yeah.
like
That's a
fucking
great
hot
example.
It's about
shit.
personal
It's like,
taste.
well, this food is really good. I
Yeah.
just don't like
Yep.
it.
And I think that's a big step to take when you realize that can be true. Because food is a
All
great
right, so
example.
you're the Dolly listener llama.
Yeah. Food is a great example. I have the taste buds of a 6-year-old. I eat macaroni and cheese, and
Well, that's
and
good
stuff.
if you know that about yourself.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
if I
And
take a
can go
drink
to
of,
let me finish. I can go to a gourmet restaurant, and everyone
you mentioned 6-year-old. Remember?
And everyone at the table is like, oh, so good, so good. And it's a 3-star Michelin restaurant, and it's got fish heads on the plate. And I'm like, hey, I know it's great. I'm not eating it. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't want to like it.
but so it's
great
not
food.
great to you. It's not great
But
to you.
I can still acknowledge that it is good food.
No, but it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's well crafted.
In
the
your
flavor
world,
profiles
no,
are
you have now bought into the fucking lie, the illusion.
not a lie.
The
See,
fucking
it takes
art
us an hour
critic
and
fucking
15 minutes to
bullshit.
get here. It takes us an hour and 15
Yeah,
minutes
exactly.
to get here, dude.
We
have to
wouldn't have
get
been here
You
otherwise.
can't
we
crap
have
on
to get
someone's
here.
personal taste if it doesn't affect you.
That's another one about art.
I'm not crapping on anyone's personal taste. I'm not saying if you like it, you're a fucking moron. I'm saying I don't
Yeah.
like it, and I don't like it for these reasons.
Yeah.
Like if I drink some rotten milk, And then I go, ugh.
Well, that's
and I go,
stupid.
hey, smell this. And then you go, ugh. And then we give it to Bryan. He's like, ugh. Then we give it to John. He's like, that's very good. It's like, well, his palate's way more developed than ours. And yeah, blah, blah. That's good milk. That is very good milk. We just can't appreciate it.
Mark, one person liking something is not criteria for me saying that it's actually good, even though I don't like it. You know what is criteria? Expertise and people who've spent
expertise, right? Okay, and who
people
has this
know better than
who
me.
is this expert about Radiohead? Who knows better?
I'm the
who knows
expert in
better?
that example.
Who knows better than me about music? And why do you know better than me about music? Because I've been playing it since I was 12. I've been listening to it for longer than that. And the stuff that I like, I've either happened upon and been like, oh, I like that. And there's plenty of stuff that I like. Taylor Swift, Kelly Clarkson, Rush, Metallica, early Metallica, pre-Black album, all kinds of stuff that other people like that is popular that I'm like, yeah, I like that stuff. There's stuff that I like.
Pre-Black album.
Yeah, once that happened, I didn't really like. I mean, there's still songs on every album
It
that
would
I'm
be
like,
like California
okay,
after the big quake that drops all the shit into the
Right.
ocean.
Let me explain.
Let me finish, John. So there's plenty of stuff that I like that is popular. And I don't dislike Radiohead because they're popular.
Okay.
I don't dislike Radiohead because everyone's like, oh, they're so great. They're so awesome. Like people say they're
You
about
just don't
Metallica.
like it.
And I'm like, I just don't like it.
Right.
And I don't understand why other people are
And
going,
that's the
it's so
thing,
great.
Mark.
It's so awesome. And let me finish. What I think the reason that they do that is because that's what they're fed. That's what they're told.
Okay. Well, now
because
you're just
critics
that's
review them and say this is Rolling
the
Stone.
snobbiest
They got
thing I've
4
ever
stars
heard.
out of 5.
Anyone who likes this is just brainwashed.
I would
So,
like
so
to
my
buy-
my musical tastes
I
are
think the
completely
maj-
invalidated.
I think the
majority
Although
of
I've
people
had
witness-
emotional experiences with that music and that band, following them through 25 years, and they've gotten better and more innovative every time, and the lyrics are great, and all these stuff. But I'm just fooled.
I would like to bear
I'm
witness.
fooled by the popular media about radio.
I would like to bear witness
To what?
to this discussion.
What does that mean?
I want to tell you what I've witnessed.
Can I just explain my
It's about
approach to this?
Radiohead. I think you'll like it.
Mark had a 15-minute monologue, and I want to have mine.
Please, John, monologue for us.
Well, let me just.
No
my
more.
experience.
No.
My experience.
No
I heard
more.
that. I heard
No
that.
more.
I heard
No
that song
more.
"Creep."
Stop talking.
I'm gonna agree with you. I heard that song "Creep" and I really liked it when that first came out. I liked that
song in their
song
entire
"Creep"
catalog.
by Radiohead. And then I bought their first album, and the rest of it I fucking hated. I was
That
like, "What
album-
the hell?"
that album
was
sucked.
garbage.
That album sucks.
And I like that album and the first song, and then what happened?
Well,
and then,
the album sucks.
And then I would watch videos,
didn't
and the
follow
dude's
the two-song
eyes like
rule.
roaming all over the place.
It's a
And
2-song rule, man. You have to like 2 songs off a record before you buy it. It's
Exactly.
A 2-song
That's a good rule.
2-song rule.
Now,
Obey the rules.
my perspective comes from the realization that I do not have developed tastes in several areas. One area is food. I don't have developed tastes. I never eat seafood. I've never eaten it. And here's the thing. I agree that I might like it if I gave it a chance and came at it with a certain perspective, and I've decided that I don't want to like it. I don't want to expand my horizons in this area, okay? Food. An example for Bryan would be movies. He likes his taste. He doesn't want to like these other movies that people say are so great that he doesn't enjoy. Okay? He's decided to stay where he is with movies. With other things, he's pushing forward in his knowledge, like gardening or jujitsu or 10,000 other things. But I acknowledge that my tastes are not developed in certain areas. So if I go up to a painting and it's abstract art or modern art, I don't assume that it's great just because other people like it, but sometimes I can perceive, I'm at the edge of perception of my understanding where I say, maybe there's something more here that I don't get. This doesn't really do it for me. In fact, paintings at all, and I probably speak for a lot of people in this day and age, paintings don't do much for us usually, sometimes. And less than they used to when that was the only visual medium. So I look at something like, the famous modern art with the squares and its color, they're colored, different colored solid things, and everyone looks at it and go, my 6-year-old could do that. My 6-year-old could do that stupid crap, so it's not good. I understand that there might be a meaning to those paintings, and actually, when you look it up, there's an abstract meaning and a reason why it's innovative. Now, I don't know about that example, but the point is, there's areas in life that I realize my tastes are not developed, and I accept that I don't get a thing. The first time I watched Big Lebowski, I just had a blank expression.
Just watched it the other day.
I just had a blank expression. I had no idea what was going on. It's now it's in my top 3 favorite movies. I've watched it like 10 times. I didn't get it, Mark. That's the thing. There's a humility that comes with wisdom that says, I might not get this. So therefore it can be good even if I don't like it. And that's my piece.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about at all.
Oh,
because
it is.
No, it's not. Because you're then assuming that I'm saying, I don't like Radiohead because I heard this one song and it was garbage and I don't like them. No, John. I have plenty of friends who say Radiohead is great. Guess how many times I've listened to Radiohead? A fucking lot. I've listened to Radiohead a fucking lot. And I have as well with plenty of other bands that I've said I do not like. Tool. I've listened to them a fucking lot. I don't like them. Okay?
Yeah. And therefore they suck.
To me. They do.
No, they just suck.
No, well, they suck to me.
Right.
When I say that they suck, it's
And
assuming that you understand that this is my opinion.
Yeah.
That I am saying that they suck.
My approach is more developed than that, because I can say I hate it. Maybe it's good. So it is with jazz.
My opinion
There's
is
millions of people who love that jazz song, and it's Miles Davis. He's the best ever.
Except for the differences,
and
that
I
the
can't
stuff
stand
that
it.
I say sucks. I've actually listened to and I've actually invested time in. The stuff that you say sucks that I listen to, you don't fucking know. You've never fucking heard.
Said that.
You've seen some fucking shows at vaudeville when you worked there and you go, oh, the genre that you listen to is garbage.
Well,
I've never said it.
I don't
Yes,
think
you
he
have.
ever
Never
said
said
that.
it.
Yes,
I don't think he
You're
said it on
wrong.
this show.
No, I'm
I
not.
think what he did was say, "Is that really the best music?"
Of the year, yeah.
He
when
never
you
said it
choose
sucked. I don't
6
ever remember
bands,
him saying that your stuff sucked.
No,
Well,
I don't.
I just
I don't
remember
think
him
it sucks.
being snobby.
I don't think
about
punk
it,
rock
and
sucks,
Is
or-
it really the best?
Punk rock doesn't
Yeah, and
suck.
it is the best to me. And I've listened to the Radiohead album that year. I've listened to the Tool album that year. I've listened to the stuff that John thinks is the best. And it's not the best to me.
This was a good idea.
Jeff, where do you come in on this?
Debating personal taste sucks.
Yeah, no point. No point.
I've tried to like sushi. I've
You
gone
know
with
what, though?
people who
I-
know sushi. I have tried sushi. There's a lot of people who love sushi. I can't wrap my head around it. I'll have something else, thanks.
But
And
they're-
so
they're-
you can distinguish between this might be great sushi and I hate it.
And then if we,
But you- that never happens to
why
you.
do
If
you
I
need
can-
to distinguish that? I don't understand.
Because-
Because
Don't erase the
because
fact that this chef
Jeff
is the,
can say he does not like sushi, and I'm completely fine with that.
Right.
I don't need to argue with him about. Oh well, no, you just need to try it. Oh, you
Well, I did.
you just haven't tried it.
And I've
You don't-
tried it. I'm like, maybe.
What
you
I'm
know.
saying is, I don't care. You can have tried it once. You can have tried it 1,000 times. You can have tried it never in your life and not like it, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you not liking
yeah,
sushi.
but you're not
It's
fine
okay.
with someone
No,
saying
I'm
I
fine-
don't like it,
I'm
but
fine
it's good.
I'm fine with you liking whatever the fuck you like, John.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you
No, the problem is you have a problem with me saying I don't fucking like this shit.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I
because
don't.
That's when have I ever gone on your fucking thing, something that you posted and said, you just need to try this stuff. You just haven't heard fucking the schwanky schwankwanks enough to know that they're fucking awesome. I haven't.
You know what I need?
And you can listen to anything you want, and you can think that my shit sucks, but
Yeah.
then that's your opinion on my taste.
And
I'm not
yeah.
giving my opinion on your
and
taste.
I blew a hole in your taste because you
When?
said on the show that Aphex Twin sucks and you'd never heard it before. And then I
Yeah.
showed you some and you liked it. So this shows where your personal taste is coming from, a place of complete bullshit. And it's made
Sometimes
up.
it is because Aphex Twin I equated with every other techno band, and I'm sorry, but I don't like that shit.
Right.
And then there's a couple Aphex Twins songs that I'm like, oh yeah, that's okay. I don't mind listening to it. I wouldn't put it on. I would never fucking choose to listen to it because I do not like that genre of music. But it wasn't.
But you
awful.
have an
It didn't make
objection.
me want to fucking turn it
Right.
off.
You have an
didn't Make me want to
objection.
jam knives in my.
You have an
interest.
objection to me saying that I don't like A, but A is really good. I acknowledge that. You don't think that makes any sense for me to say that.
I don't care. Again,
You've been arguing against it for half an hour.
This whole argument, John, again, stemmed from me saying that I wanted to fucking set a stage on fire that had Radiohead or Tool or Red Hot Chili Peppers or
It goes
blah, blah,
back
blah.
to that.
It's me talking about my taste.
All right.
You have a fucking problem with that.
No, I don't.
Well, you said you did. That's what this whole thing stemmed from. So what this whole conversation stemmed from.
All right.
I don't like lobster either.
You did well, Mark, but I mean, we all have to acknowledge that I win. So the next topic is... I'm just kidding.
I was going to tell you a Radiohead story, but I'm not doing it.
All right, go ahead,
You wait
brother.
so long. Nope.
Why not?
Nope.
He chooses not to. It's his personal choice.
That's right. It's my personal
You're
choice.
transitioning to a non-Radiohead talking about person on the podcast
That's what
type
I
guy?
just did. I would have validated your whole argument, but you left me out here in the dark, John.
What do you mean, man? I had to say my piece after his rant.
I would have said your piece. I was in the middle too. I was calm.
Come on,
I would've
give me the-
melted.
I don't
give me
like
the
Eric
goods.
Clapton either, and I know he's a good guitarist.
Exactly.
I just don't like him.
Exactly.
I don't shit on him.
Exactly.
I wouldn't buy an album unless he
Exactly.
was playing with someone.
Except for Eric Clapton is a racist cokehead.
I don't care.
Well,
He's a good guitarist.
That
Kid
maybe
fell out
says
a
something about his
window.
character, which goes beyond his musical talent.
Right.
Yep. That's
What
why
were you going
God
to say,
pushed his
Bryan?
kid out of
I
the
want
window.
the support.
That's why. Well, I watched
Oh,
the
that was
radio.
rough, dude.
Yeah. Well, dude, I just penance. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The I hope that makes it in and doesn't get cut out. It's in the
No.
background. It's good stuff. I watched a show on Radiohead in the recording studio once. I don't like Radiohead. I couldn't even name you two of their songs, to tell you the truth, except that lame one, Creep. And I'll tell you why that song bothers me. Because it's like the asshole who says they like Deftones, and then right away they're going to tell you about Change.
The one song.
Yeah, dude. Like,
I know.
okay, only like one of the lamer songs Deftones ever done. That's cool.
Yeah.
That you know that one. That's great.
Right.
They've been around 25 years, but you know that song. Sweet. But then the show was over, and I even put up a post about it. I'm like, man, I don't really like Radiohead, but man, there's 9 talented fucking guys in that band.
Was
Like,
it the basement recordings where they were playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, man,
Those
these
are
guys
so
can
good.
really play. Like, you watch them playing the instruments,
Throwing
you're like,
it
man, these
down
guys
live.
can really play. Yeah.
Yeah, with all
I'm
those
like-
effects.
I'm like, wow, man, this is
and his voice is fucking phenomenal.
yeah, it's pretty good, man. I was impressed. I got to say, I was impressed. And it's not, I don't like it, but I couldn't say, I don't like that, it sucks. I couldn't say it sucks because just by watching, I know it doesn't suck.
Right.
It's like if you don't like watching soccer, like my dad had no idea what soccer was, right?
Yeah.
My dad doesn't watch soccer. He watches football, baseball, basketball. It's his thing.
But you get him in, you make him watch
Well,
it.
he comes to watch us play soccer once, and we
Right.
had a good team, man. We were winning all Europe. We were doing it convincingly, and he got up to watch it from above, and he said, man, I don't know what I was looking at, but you guys look pretty good at it.
Right.
Like, he even knew we were pretty good at it, and he didn't even know what he was looking at. So.
It's important to me to believe that I can like things that I don't currently like with work to understand them.
Well, that's
Like,
why I eventually came around to baseball, too. Like,
yeah,
I
once you
started
get it,
really appreciating
Once you
how
know all the
hard
rules.
it is to fucking pitch, and they're like, this
And to
guy's
hit.
and I'm like, dude, you got 5 different pitches. Like, imagine walking up to the plate and you're looking at Roger Clemens, and he has 5 different pitches he can throw at you. You have no idea what's coming, and they vary anywhere from like 81 miles an hour on the changeup, which looks just like the 102 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah.
Same fucking arm motion, same release point, same everything.
to hit a 100-mile-an-hour ball, I would have to close my eyes and try to time the swing to the moment where he releases the
So
ball.
do you love baseball? You love it?
I played
Who's in
for
the World
10
Series?
years. I don't know. I don't watch
God
it.
Damn, it starts like tomorrow, dude.
Who is in it?
It's the fucking Mets
Fucking Mets.
and the Royals for the 2nd year in a row.
Oh.
John loves baseball.
'Cause-
Doesn't know who's in the World Series.
Hey, I played it more than you, motherfucker.
That's because I'm not good at it. Nobody would
I
let
wasn't
me
good
play
at
on
it
their-
either,
nobody would
but
let
I-
me play on their team.
I
Like, they
wasn't
didn't
good
want
at
me.
it either, but I played it.
I can only catch. I can't. I'm not. I wasn't much of a hitter. I can attest to the fact that it's really hard to hit that baseball.
It's so hard. I'm just sad that the Cubs aren't in it because that was one of the prophecies from
You just
Back to
gave
the
me
Future
chills,
too.
By the way, yeah, because I'm a diehard.
Cubs fan.
Hell yeah.
The Cubbies. That was one of the prophecies from Back to the Future too
Right.
for 2015.
And it was looking good till the
They
wheels
almost
fell
did
off,
it.
dude. They were like on a roll, and then the wheels just fell off. The Mets.
The curse. Well, it's a curse.
Well, I wouldn't even call it the curse because they didn't fuck it up. You didn't have anybody fucking up a foul ball. Or
No, the
anything
Mets
like that.
pitching
The
closed
Mets
the fucking
pitching was
door,
just
dude.
good. So
They just
Yeah.
closed the door.
Yeah.
Except for the Cubs won every other regular season game against the Mets.
really?
But
Yep, they won every
Yeah.
single fucking game this year
Damn.
in the regular season
Right.
against the Mets.
That's gotta hurt.
But teams get better through it, or they get worse through it. I mean, look at the Cubs. They came on like the last third of the season. They were untouchable, and they made it wild card playoff.
Yeah,
Then
but it's weird
then
because they
then
had it.
took
They
to
had
those
it going.
those fucking Cardinals.
They
I
had
hate
it
that. I hate
going
St.
on
Louis.
every level when they got to the Mets series, though. They had
I think they burn out.
The
though.
Cubs pitching was going well. They were hitting the shit out of the ball.
Isn't there a phenomenon where teams aren't used to doing well too, and they collapse under the
You
because
think
they've
it was
never
the
gotten
pressure?
to the semifinals, you know, and
the,
or whatever.
What the NLCS, right?
Yeah.
Cubs National League, yeah, NLCS.
They went to the National League Championship.
Yeah, honestly,
They got swept.
Yeah.
But when they made the wild card, and the Cardinals have always been the bane of everyone's existence, and fuck those assholes. But winning there, I thought that's it. That was the World Series this year for Cubs and Cubs fans. I didn't see it happen. When I heard it was the Mets, I'm like, I was born and raised to hate the Mets growing up a Cubs fan. And you know what? When you say stuff like that, I'll use finger quotes because all it is a bunch of millionaires who are really good at it with a stick and a ball in them, and they're hanging out with some other millionaires on the other side. And they're so let's get real with it.
When's the last time they won the league championship? Not the World Series, but not the World Series, but the.
It was like 1908 or something like that.
And have they-
over 100 years.
1945 was the last time they were independent.
But the last time they won the World Series was
1907.
07?
Yeah.
That's a tough streak, boys.
Well, but you know what though? Some of the you go to Wrigley and it's everything about it. They could lose every day for the rest of their life. And there's going to be 50,000 people who would just love the shit out of that day.
That's crazy.
I got to tell you, like my wife didn't like baseball at all. I kept telling her, I'm like, man, it's America's pastime. It's a great thing. Baseball's a great thing.
It's different from all the other sports.
When she's like, it's
Not
boring,
cricket.
and I said, no, it's not. It's not
Cricket.
boring. It's perfect because you're watching baseball and you go and you do the laundry. And you didn't. The game's not over when you come back. Like you didn't miss it. Like you can go to the store and come back, and you still got baseball. You go spend a day at the ballpark, and a day at the ballpark is a cool thing.
Oh yeah,
it's a fun thing to do. Go to the ballpark.
There's
and
a
took
scene.
her to a few games. Huge baseball fan.
Huge fan.
She's a bigger fan than me.
There's a scene in Deadwood, and this is 1879, and they're reading the newspaper, and the guy's like, this tough bodyguard type guy. He's like, because it's a local paper, and he's like, I wish they had the baseball in here, like the scores. And I was just like, oh my god, 1879.
And I played baseball for a total of 18 years, or softball. Anyway, there was a diamond, there was leather balls and all that shit. I still think it's ridiculous all the number of statistics there are. It's like, okay, swing and the ball did something, and all of a sudden on base percentages, slugging percentages, your batting average, but a walk didn't count, but you're on base, so that's your on base percentage, but it doesn't count.
And then your RBIs.
Now, hold on,
you need like a degree.
You could have a shitty batting average and still have tons of RBIs.
Right.
Yeah, it's like an associate's in applied sciences just to score a baseball
it takes
game. Like, you
bean
got to go to
counters.
school for 2 fucking years to do it right.
ERA. I still haven't wrapped my head around that.
know.
The best guy in the league's got an ERA of 9. Okay, is it good or bad? That's bad, but he's in the World Series, right? Yes.
Oh my god.
So I think it's hilarious.
Earned run average.
Yeah.
Try
It's not
explaining
how many
that.
nines. Yeah, it's how many runs a pitcher gives up
Yeah.
on average over 9 innings.
Right.
Okay.
So you want to hear a funny story
But now if
about,
there's an error-
about baseball and the World Series that's going to happen?
Yeah, we're gonna
My-
close on that.
My sister's talking to my mom. My mom is watching baseball all the time. And she's like, so who are you rooting for the World Series now that the Cubs lost? And she's like, well, I'm from Kansas, so I'm rooting for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's good luck with that. I don't think they're gonna do well.
Well, they're also from Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah,
Missouri
it's
had
not
2
Kansas
options.
City, Kansas.
It's Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, it's
Yeah.
still that's their closest team, right?
Which is, do you know Missouri's a butchered Indian word meaning canoe men?
Really?
Because the indigenous from that area traveled by canoe.
Huh?
And just thought I'd throw that in there.
I think the cats are trying to get out of the.
Also,
bedroom.
one time we got to talk about, man, Beef loaned me this book, The Ghost of King Leopold.
we
About
got started to get into it.
Leopold in the Congo, but we got to talk about that one time because it's a genocide that like I've never heard about it before, and it's a modern genocide. It's mid to late 1800s, and it's a really interesting story, like how he laid claim to the Congo and then got people to sign off on it kind of underhandedly. The guy was a fucking illusionist. It's a really cool book.
Let's do it in 2 weeks when you're back.
Well, if I've read it yet, but I'm going to be
You'll
laid up
be.
soon
You'll
with the
have it.
surgery,
Yeah.
so I'll have plenty of time.
Well, and then also someone that was part of that, I think, was Rhodes, right? Isn't Rhodes part of that whole deal? and which is where you get Rhodes scholarships from.
Well, maybe I'm only
Rhodes
about
College.
like 100 pages in right now, so
But
I
basically-
haven't gotten to all the players yet. But it's just getting set up. They're just starting to build roads and.
Okay, but basically, it'd be like if there was a Goering scholarship,
A Herman Goering scholarship.
or a Goebbels scholarship,
Yeah.
or and people were like, "Oh, if you do really well, you can get one of those.
You can be like him. Like Columbus Day.
right."
All right.
But most people just don't even know about this.
Yeah.
Like, they're finally hip to Columbus and
Right.
they know about Hitler and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
But so how you always like to say that I'm against government, but
Yeah.
I go on the roads and I use highways and I do stuff like that. Well, okay, what about medical advances that happened because of Hitler,
right.
Nazis?
You're saying good
Plenty
things
of people
can
are
come from bad
people,
things.
Plenty of people are benefited by terrible
Right.
institutions, people,
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to like them and accept them to benefit from things that came from
The
them.
good things that came out.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying
I
is,
could-
like, if you're trying to say that I'm a hypocrite because I drive on the roads or use,
Well, it's a criticism I have of libertarians
no,
in general.
no,
I don't
I
think I've
understand
said
that.
it
It
to
was,
you.
I know
Getting
it's
back to
not
the
personal
Cubs.
against me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
07 and 08, they were in the series. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
2 years in a row.
They did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they
That-
win both
that was-
times?
That was like a long time ago, though.
The thing is that medical advances aren't intrinsic to a genocidal dictator, but roads are intrinsic to government. So, in other words, if you're against government, you can't really just say, "Well, I like some of the good things that accidentally happened."
But they're
because
not
of it."
intrinsic because if the government didn't exist, who are you to say that the roads wouldn't exist?
Right? A private. Okay.
Roads
That's
would probably
true.
still exist.
Yeah,
Yes, they'd be called trails,
and they
and
wouldn't.
you would walk them
and
or
the
ride a horse.
And
on
the
it.
interstate
Yeah.
highway system was a deliberate thing that Eisenhower did in the 50s. But anyway, all right. We went over, of course. We have too much fun doing this. Jeff, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks for asking, man. It's cool.
I hope to see you again on a episode in the near future.
I live here now.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Bryan. Thanks, Mark.
Peace.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.